you are at the Behemoth shell, which is this gigantic mountain, and it looks like, how is it described? A mixture between a conch and a seashell. And it has this main hall with a tower in the middle and stalls. There are tunnels that lead deeper into the Behemoth shell, and you have rented rooms there. These rooms are actually pretty luxurious for such a remote place. So you have, like in the cowboy movies, you have these bathing, what are they called? Like you can have
bathtubs?
A hot bath, but yeah, sort of bathtubs indeed. And I think we start the session with maybe how does it look like if you relax, so we can introduce the characters. Let's start with Azure. You're in your room, and people of the series will realize that you have changed a little bit. So I think you can correct me that you're trying to fit your armor and it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
So
well, I think the scene starts with Azure standing in front of the mirror, looking at her body and noticing that like her arms and legs seem oddly a lot like more muscular than they were before, but kind of not in a good way. It seems like they're kind of growing. I mean, I guess it's minor, but it's more tumor-like than actually looking ripped. You know what I mean? So she's kind of freaking out and not really sure what's going on. I guess the what she would do would be to go to try to find some sort of like doctor or something that could help her consult. She's got plenty of cash, so she can pay for a visit or whatever. So I think that's basically what I think would be the first plan of action for Azure. She's still got the furry kite with her. It hasn't left her side since the untimely passing. And it's still racked with survivor guilt because she bailed out of Johnny Seven's collapsing framework without really kind of keeping an eye on everybody else. And that's how Saffron went down. Saffron and Azure became fairly close because they were both spending time with Johnny Five, trying to keep him alive. So I think that's how I would start with the visit to the doctor.
So, except that she is now more bulky than she had been before, how does she look like?
Like I said, she's got like odd knots kind of growing out, like and they follow like like the lat, like your lats and your abs and all that stuff. It's like it's not like all of a sudden she's got like abs of steel and has got like a ripped six-pack. It's just more like there's like these like all the muscles are defined in weird lumpy ways.
But I mean, she has dark hair, I think.
Yes.
And like a 60s haircut, I seem to remember.
Oh yeah. She's got a 60s haircut. She's like very the photo in the character keeper is one of Pierre Cardin's crazy 60s super mod things. She's got like a big plastic shield, like teardrop shaped see-through plastic shield that she wears at all times. She wore her armor, which is sort of form-fitting, space age. It's like part of it looked like you know, any costume in a DC Comics movie. You know, it's got that kind of like fake plate, not plate, but anyway. And then she also wears blue vinyl, like a blue vinyl mini skirt, and she's got like a scarf around her neck that's made out of that same vinyl, and it kind of stretches out, and it's got like a circle at the end of it that she holds on to. It's kind of her security blanket.
And then Azure is also a member of, like a secret member of the Blue Cult, or the Azure Cult. Is there anything in your room, like a place of devotion for people watching our series, that would give away that she's a cultist?
Well, she's got sort of like, because it's secret, she's got sort of like a makeup compact. It's like maybe like a metal box, but it's very stylish. And maybe it's in the shape of a seashell or something like that. And it's got like a coin purse clasp. And if you open it up, then it's all like, and it's blue, but in the inside, it's got a mirror and like a small devotional statue of the blue god. And then also like a photo of some holy site, like one of the big holy sites for the Azure cult.
All right, cool. And then we switch over to, while Azure is trying to seek medical help, probably from Shiva Erbert, who is a master of yogurts and slimes. Seems to be the only one who has some kind of like medical background around here. We switch over to Nida. How does Nida look like, and what is she doing in her room?
I'm not in my room. I'm hanging out with Beauregard right now. And I think we're sitting at a cafe, drinking coffee or having an adult beverage, maybe smoking something, relaxing, because we just got out of this big fight. We're alive. We got rid of both of us fulfilled, a task that the Legion had deemed important. We made the roads safer for travelers. We're obviously, Beauregard is one of the guards for the Behemoth Shell, so he cannot just tie one on. But we're having ourselves a little bit of a celebration. And so I'm sitting there in my Yellowlander cloak. I've actually changed some of the face paint. I've gotten what looks like some gold glitter dust and mixed it in with the traditional yellow face paint markings that I'd been using. So it's a little more stylish. It's something that I like to do when I've accomplished something that feels bigger, something that feels more noteworthy. Like, recruiting new people for the Legion is great and all, but getting those Redlanders just out of circulation, that's a victory. That's something that's worth raising a glass to. So it's not that we're getting loud exactly, but we're laughing and joking, and we have obviously relaxed a fair bit.
And I think that Aima, which is the other like city guard, if you will, is also there with you. And I think she mentions that they have towed the auto wagon of the Redlanders, and she asks you if you have any interest in it, or if the Behemoth Shell can keep it, the village.
I'm going to need to talk with the rest of the party about that, because it would be a huge help to us in our travels. And I think Beauregard knows that.
Of course. And we switch over to Hamish, our folk hero. Is he in his room?
No, Hamish is in the bar, and he is drinking with whoever's assembled and telling about. And they sent these bastard other Redlanders. You know, they were bandit scum, stooges of the men who want to keep me down and want to silence the 1-3 voice of the Redlands. But the people I travel with, they're canny, brave souls. And while I led them on a wild goose chase, they took care of all of them. Another blow struck for freedom in the Redlands. And I'm basically passing off those Redlanders that you killed last session as maybe they were in some way after Hamish, but he's claiming that it was all part of his own master grand plan.
So you're surrounded by rather tall people with they have these facial scars with bones through them, and they're called the Great Folk. They're all wearing overalls, and they're nodding and also cheering when you're cheering. How does Hamish look like?
Hamish is like a brawny dude with a. He looks like a sort of Mad Max Robin Hood, you might say, but he carries a huge sword, and he has a thick beard that is rainbow coloured, hence his name, because those are the colours of Hamish McRainbow. Basically, I am the Scotsman from Samurai Jack without a machine gun. So yeah.
So actually, Hamish and Nida are in the big hall of this behemoth shell. Where would sorry, a last question, Hamish. We also obviously have a shot of your motorcycle from the outside. Can you describe quickly how it looks like?
It's like a ramshackle, steampunky sort of converted old, maybe in the style of World War II era Triumph motorcycles.
Awesome, cool. I dig it. All right, and then we have our fourth character, which is Epoch. Bodhi, can you introduce Epoch? Where would they be?
So they are in their room,
Cool.
and they are attending to their skincare, which is rather complicated because if you look at their kind of scrawny, wearing robes and dark skin, shaved head, and their left arm is kind of grafted on snake skin, and their right arm is grafted on lizard skin. And so they're kind of using fine kind of dust, kind of clay dust, to kind of look after those kind of grafted on skin, which is part of my biomancy abilities. And I'm also, while I'm doing this, puzzling over the silver book embossed kind of with plans for an ancient machine embossed on metal that I have with me, and kind of trying to puzzle out the mystery of what this thing is while I'm being whispered to about it by the memory symbiont that has infected me. Unintentionally, as I was kind of doing these grafting experiments, I unintentionally got infected with this memory implanted symbiont, and it's taken me away from my I'm part of an anarchist cult called the Black Jackals, and it's taken me away from kind of where they are to join the caravan and travel in search of this this machine, which my blood is whispering to me will unlock this amazing legacy. So I'm kind of driven by mad whispers from my blood.
So we see you, you know, flipping through this silver embossed book, and you know, we hear this crazy whispering, so you are described as a dog-head purple folk, and I would be interested in, first of all, do the purple folk look like yellow landers and green landers, or are they completely different? And what's with the dog head?
So the dog head is it's almost a slur for the cult that I'm part of. It's because my cult is based on an Anubis-like figure, the Egyptian god of death and embalming, and I wear in public I wear a black leather dog type mask that conceals my features. So dog heads are kind of a thing that people will call me. Like, I don't particularly like being called that. I feel it's slightly derogatory, but kind of that's what everyone calls me. And in terms of purple folk, I think that's connected with this memory symbiont. I think that it turns my blood purple, and so that's hence the name of that. I think that because colors are typically regions in the Ultraviolet Grasslands, I think that this virus kind of spread out from the purple lands, and is kind of, it's quite rare even there to have it, but it's such a defining feature that kind of people with it kind of suddenly start kind of going on about this legacy that they have to find, and kind of there's all sorts of disparate strands that they look for. It's kind of, no one's quite sure whether kind of as the purple folk themselves claim, there's kind of, they're all on separate parts of the same mission to unlock this legacy, or whether it's just that this ancient symbiont is kind of mutating and being corrupted, and everyone has a slightly different corruption of it.
But I got this right. So the purple folk is a rather small group of people who have the symbiont.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Is there like purple lands?
Yes, that are named after the purple folk, because that's the kind of greatest concentration of them. But even in the purple lands, maybe 1 in 10 people will be infected with the symbiont.
Okay.
And within the purple lands, it's kind of accepted. It's kind of like accepted that there's a reality behind it. Some people even seek out infection with the symbiont, but it's outside. It's viewed with a lot of suspicion.
Cool.
Is this something that like people treat as like a holy calling or something like that? Like you mentioned that some people seek it out. So this is like a privilege or an honor, like almost being selected?
Yes, it's regarded as a privilege, but it also comes with downsides. It has kind of rather kind of nasty physical effects. I'm fairly kind of weak and sickly, and not kind of, and in some degree of pain because of this. And I suspect that I'm not originally from the Purple Lands. It's a but I'm now one of the purple folk because I'm infected with this symbiont, and I became infected with it because of my meddling with biomancy, and I'm a bit of a pariah within the Black Jackal cult now, because I refuse to get this symbiont purged. Like, it's possible to get this symbiont purged from yourself, but I believe in it. I refuse to do it, and I don't think I'm an enemy of the Black Jackals, but they regard me as kind of rather sadly deluded, and they kind of, they're definitely on the side of this is just some corrupt piece of ancient technology that doesn't have any greater meaning behind it, and I'm like, you don't hear what I hear. This is real. There's something here. We have to find it.
So does that make APOC almost more of a martyr in this, or the people who have these symbionts, are they more like martyrs, or?
I think it's kind of almost a priest caste in the Purple Lands, but it's a kind of, it's regarded as kind of a holy duty and a holy quest to kind of listen to those voices and seek out the legacy. That no one's particularly clear on the nature of the legacy, because the whispers are kind of voices. Yeah, they're not easy to interpret.
And then I have one last question with that. Does this mean that anybody at any time can become a Purple Lander if they agree to be infected with the symbiont or become infected with the symbiont?
I think that anyone who is infected with the symbiont and accepts its message would be welcomed in the Purple Lands, would be considered a Purple Lander if they made their way there. It's I think if you're not infected with the symbiont, you'd have to be born there or have some connection, but it's kind of anyone who is infected is welcome because of they bring the message of these voices.
Although every message can be different. Awesome. And then to make it even more metal, you have a so-called brain hook.
Brain hook. That's it's a kind of a holy weapon of Anubis, and it's derived from an embalming tool, but it's kind of bigger and meaner and vicious and more vicious. And it's kind of originally designed for kind of removing the brains of mummies to be embalmed, but it's kind of a weapon that kind of a barbed hook that kind of is based on that tool.
I have a good idea how it would look like if you roll a critical success on an attack with your brain hook. In any case, so while Epoch is sitting on the bed, listening to crazy voices and flipping through the silver embossed book, Azure, what do you wear when you visit the big hall to go to the yogurt vendor? Because your armor doesn't fit.
Doesn't fit at all?
Well, you could make it fit if you know.
Well, I mean, I don't have anything else. I think that's all I have is the armor. So I'll stuff myself into that for now and head over to the doctor. Maybe buy a muumuu afterwards.
So Hamish and Nida, you see Azure coming down the tunnels, and when she and definitely you have realized that she got
I think
more
Hamish.
muscular.
Yeah, Hamish is like, is that Azur's big sister, or oh no, it's Azur. You put on a few pounds, love. What's that all about?
She stares daggers at him.
I mean, it looks good. No fear, like you really, but maybe you need to get some new armor, right?
I just push a
don't be
glass
brave.
across the table at you.
And Azure, you had these visions. Have you shared the visions with your with the rest of the party?
Honestly, I forgot what the visions were. Can you give me a reminder?
Yes, I can. So you were visiting like an underground, some kind of cave under some pines,
Oh.
and it was called the Lurid Pines.
Yes.
And you saw some kind of crates with gear in there, and also some kind of movable plant hamster hybrids or something. And then the second place that you visited in your visions were the Ideal Island, and there was like a floating island in the sky with this. It looked like a blue, fleshy ground, and there was definitely a multicolored pyramid and a floating eye over the pyramid that told you to get the fuck out of the island.
Right, and it threw me out of my trance state.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell them about it.
Yeah, well,
And go.
oh, I'm just gonna say, so you're saying there may be treasure there?
Yeah, one would think the Lurid Pines seem to be loaded for bear with ancient, with possibly some ancient loot that we could get our hands on, as well as then the other place, that weird island. I don't know if we should go there. I've to observe in my trance state my entire, as long as I've been doing this, and nobody has ever noticed me or, when I've been in this vision state. So this is kind of disconcerting.
Yeah, I'm sure it's real bother, but tell me more about this treasure again.
I look at Beauregard in a meaningful way. Like, do you know anything about these places?
Well, I've seen the floating island. It's pretty high up, though. I wouldn't even know how to get there. And yeah, the great folk talk about the Lurid Pines, but they have no clue where it actually is.
Can I? One of the great folk who I've been drinking with.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Bodgy, why don't you tell me all about what's going on the Lurid Pines? Where do we find that?
Well, the Lurid Pines, first you have to leave, and he completely describes where to find it, no problem. And he says, there's strange things going on. It's a magical testing site gone wrong. I wouldn't go there.
Ah, interesting. It buys him a beer. Goes back, tells the group about the whole magical testing thing. I mean, I reckon the treasure is probably, sounds like it's viable stuff. Magical testing site gone wrong. I mean, we've been worse places.
And Epoch, you can come in at any time, whenever your whispers cease to inform you or confuse you.
You will have a drink shoved into your hand the second you come join us.
Mm-hmm. So I come down and join you with my mask on and kind of hear you talking about the Lurid Pines and kind of my eyes glaze over a little and say, yes, we should go there.
Is that maybe a good, last thing for the short break? I see that Abe is also having a break. I don't know. Let's say 45, quarter to the hour.
See you in 9.
See you.
Horse, I actually have to leave half an hour before the end of the session, unfortunately. So I will just duck out at 8 o'clock and you guys carry on, you know?
Cool.
Hamish will invisibly follow along in the background of whatever's happening.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I think Puckett had a sleepless night, so if we stop a little bit earlier, it's also okay.
Sorry about that. I'm here.
Yes.
I'm back.
Nice. Let's do this, man. Okay, so you are not drinking beer. You're drinking fermented goat milk at the yogurt vendor. And you were discussing when we had the commercial break, discussing going to the Lurid Pines. Is that the plan?
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's on our way to the Black City, but it could be lucrative.
Yes, lucrative. That's why I want to go there.
You are a coward, you ain't.
Pardon?
I'm okay with that. Let's go. I just want to. Did I see the dock yet?
Oh, so Shiva Erbert, the shaman that is serving the yogurts is the only like medically trained person in the whole behemoth shell. So when you mentioned to her that, I don't know, do you do that in a confidential way or when
Yeah.
while the rest is around the table?
Yes, it would be a confidential. Like I would be right back sort of deal.
Mm-hmm. And so you are all in this gigantic hall of the behemoth shell, and there are these stalls. There's the tower in the middle, and when you approach her behind the counter, so to speak, she turns to you and says, "Yes, how can I help you? Another drink?"
Actually, no. I seem to be having some. I seem to be having some sort of biological issues, and I'm not really sure what's happening. It seems like I'm getting all these like weird lumps all over my body, and I'm not really sure what's happening with that. I've never seen anything like it before. It's and then I roll up the sleeve of I roll up the sleeve of my armor as far as it will go to show her like like the distended muscle.
And she she goes with her fingers over the bumps, and she's weighing her head, and she says, "Have you ingested something funky lately?"
Yes. These weird eggs from a penguin inside of a giant walking factory.
Well, it looks like it's not a worm infection, I can assure you, but it does seem like a biomantic mutation, I think. This is way, way beyond my capabilities, but you might be more lucky at the Kral. So I think it's called the Pylon Kral, and you would want to talk to probably Zurot Two Eyes. She might help you. And I type this in chat. The pylon crawl. And the name is Zurot Two Eyes. Oh.
Pine Crawl's the destination.
Yes. And it's, she says, it's over the river. If you like, I heard you guys talking, and you're moving west, so you will pass. You will have to cross the river, the Moon River, anyways. So why not take the fort, the moon-facing fort?
Thanks for your help. I appreciate it. Is there any place? Do you know? Is there any place around where I could re-up on my armor? This is becoming quickly far too tight for its own good.
Well, I guess you need to see a tailor that would make your armor fit again.
Okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate your help.
Anytime.
I return to the team.
Okay, and then you prepare traveling to. You have a destination from Hamish's new body, and he told you that it's. Let's see, how much of travel is it? 2 days of travel to the north.
One thing that I'm going to do is meditate.
So I guess you.
I was going to say, one thing that I'm going to do is meditate so I can reattune and attune Ajax instead of the sniper rifle. So just to put that.
So you're tuning to your rifle. Azure is attuned to.
Right now, I'm attuned to my visions, I think.
And do you want to change it before you leave?
No, I'll leave it with. Well, actually, yeah. Yes, I will. I'll switch it up.
Yeah, you do know that there's like an autofac somewhere underground, so it might be helpful to have the salamander at ready. Cool. How do you go there? Do you take your wagon? Do you walk there? Do you leave someone behind? Is Vigo joining?
Who's Vigo?
Vigo is the ghost hunter.
Oh, cool.
So he's a pale, young, tall man hunting ghosts.
Nice.
And are we going to Pylon Crawl, or are we going to do Lurid Pines?
Pylon Crawl can be on the way to Lurid Pines, can't he? I believe. Right? My understanding of that was. So I'm happy for APOC to have said, "Oh, I know the perfect crossing on the way there, Moon Ford, whatever," and we can just.
I mean, both Azure and APOC have good reasons to crawl through underground areas, especially if they mentioned that there are items to be found.
I think I meant Azure then, not APOC, sorry. So should we go individual? Like I kind of like the idea of us all going on our individual vehicles, but I don't know if that's just like unnecessary complication, really, in terms of bookkeeping and so forth, like carrying ability and everything.
I mean, if we're leaving the behemoth shell behind for good, then it makes sense to take all the vehicles. And by the way, how do we feel about the auto wagon? Do we want to leave it at the Behemoth Shell for the people there, or do we want to take it with us?
Yeah, as an information for Bodhi, they killed some Redlander bandits, and these bandits, they had an auto wagon that got crashed. Well, not completely, but when the last driver was killed, it crashed into a tree. So at the moment, the windshield is broken, and there's brain and plasma matter on the seats. But beside that, it's totally functional.
I say we leave it with them. I mean, great heroes leaving behind trophies to the poor people of the grasslands. That seems like, word of mouth spreads that way. And if we ever have to come back this way, we'll know where we can find an auto as well.
Yeah, but it also means we can't carry as much. And out of character, is there any XP gain for leaving the auto wagon?
Yeah.
I'm certainly angling to try for that.
I heard that. My GM XP ear heard that. Maybe not the full XP, but it's definitely working towards becoming the true folk hero that Hamish is known to be. Not the full XP, but definitely some of it would. On the other hand, having the car or the auto wagon does give you, obviously more.
What is it? 24 slots?
It's not like one of the big ones. I think it's similar to the Rust Bucket, so it would be 6.
Oh wait, it's only 6?
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was one of the big auto wagons, which is why we were looking at it.
Did we establish that last time?
Yeah, because I thought we were looking at it as one of the. Yeah, because calling it an auto wagon, capacity on that is 24 sacks.
Implies that it is 24. I'm happy with 24 to make the decision more difficult for you.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm obviously for trading it, leaving it with them. I am maybe for perhaps taking it for a test run over to the Lurid Plains and using it to bring back whatever we have there, and then we can leave it behind or take it with us if we have too much to carry on our next leg.
The XP gain would be a key deciding factor there for me, because I am looking at that and saying, we've been struggling with capacity for quite a while to carry just our food. So giving up something for that carries 24 sacks is a huge ask.
I'll be honest, Bucket. I think you're making the right choice there. I'm making the purely selfish my XP trigger choice. It definitely, I think, is a valuable asset to the wagon and the caravan.
Yeah, I'm fairly simple on this. We're a caravan. It's a vehicle suitable for a caravan. I don't have any kind of ulterior motive in this. It's just caravan, carry stuff. We should have this.
Well,
you could also go ahead, Abe.
Yeah, I say we keep it. Take it with us. Did we buy it?
No, you murdered
No,
people.
we liberated it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we should keep it.
Just to give you like a devil's advocate perspective, obviously from a neutral spectator, you are stinky rich. So leaving the car behind as a gesture of goodwill and then buying an even better car made from bones is totally within your financial abilities and can be done at the Behemoth Shell because they are bone mancers who craft vehicles by shaping bones.
So we can buy an auto wagon for 10,000 coins and it'll have the 24 sacks, but it'll be made of like bone. It'll be like some sort of strange, odd bone carriage.
It will. And you can also buy some funky things like a boarding ramp or a
so we can kit it out
radio.
using that vehicle checklist that you gave us.
Can I get some bone armor? That might be an interesting change of pace.
Yeah, I
They are
think bone armor is.
osteomancers or whatever we decided to call them.
That's a cool name.
Yes.
Osteomancers.
So I'm still kind of on the question of how much XP we would get for graciously donating the auto wagon to them.
Oh, Hamish is the only one who would get the XP.
Oh, so we
Because
get nothing?
You get nothing. Hamish has as an XP trigger living up to the legacy.
I see. So Hamish would get XP. The rest of us would be asked out, and we would still need to spend 10,000 credits to get a new auto wagon.
But we get a lovely auto wagon. You know, we could get a really nice one. Not that old piece of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just makes sense, Nida. It makes no sense.
Could we have osteomancers add on weapons to this existing auto wagon as kind of a compromise where they're actually like getting some benefit from it?
I don't see the compromise. Obviously, you could get bone weapons on like a bone harpoon or something on the auto wagon of the.
That's still making the decision to just take it, anyways. I say we just take it.
It's putting some money into the community, is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, but I think.
Why don't we just put money into the community though? Let's start an orphanage or something, you know?
But they specifically want the vehicle, so I mean, yeah. They could have just said that we want money. I think that in the spirit of everything, we have a long, argument about it where Hamish is, trying to wheedle it out and overlooking the obvious benefits of this, and perhaps we come to the conclusion that we're going to keep it anyways. We moved on.
And maybe you have the discussion on the way to the Lurid Pines. And do you take? So you take the whole caravan with you, including the.
Well, we don't. We can. It's safe to leave the caravan stuff at the Behemoth Shell with Beauregard watching it.
Yeah. Yes.
So all you need to do is take a vehicle over there, so we get there quick.
Yeah. And
why don't we take the auto wagon, and then we can just say, we'll just take it for a test drive. Make sure it's all working for you and everything.
And provisions. Do you take provisions with you? It's a 2 days of travel.
4 days of travel, food.
Yeah.
Good. I vote to take extra, just in case.
We can always get rid of an extra if we need to swap it out for treasure, right? We can just here's some food, treasure gods, and we'll take the treasure.
Yeah, we're rich. We don't mind about wasting a bit of food, so take double.
I had you all pegged all wrong, Apoc. I thought you were some sort of punk anarchist, but I'm loving this whole market dynamic thing that's coming out now.
I am. I'm a punk anarchist, but I'm a punk anarchist who is temporarily kind of like realizing the advantages of having a lot of disposable income.
Happens to the best of us.
So you're an anarchist when you're poor, and you're a capitalist when you have money. Got it.
I've never had money before, so this is a new experience for me.
In any case, so like 4 days of travel would be less than a sack of provisions. So if you take the 4 sacks, that would be more than sufficient. Okay, so we see you. So the auto wagon of the Redlanders is a bit sinister. I wouldn't say sinister. It's like the combination of sinister and kitschy. So it has this red plush seats in the front, the death head stick, and like a silver thorny wheel. Obviously, the windshield is completely broken. I assume that you have removed the brain goo a little bit. There's space for 2 or 3, maybe not for Azure, who takes some considerable space, but 2 people in the front and 2 would sit on the flatbed. and you're driving in the. I assume that you're leaving the beam of shield in the morning, which in the ultraviolet grasslands, especially so far to the west, means in this purple darkness. So the sun rises, but it cannot penetrate this weird violet radiation that bathes everything in this eerie light. But still it is hot. Although it is dark, it has the heat of a summer day. And at noon, a little bit earlier, the radiation dissipates and the sun breaks through. And 2 days later, you arrive at a mountain, and on this mountain there are ornate. They're described as buxom pines, so like bloated pines, I assume. And my question to Epoch is, so what gives away that this was a magical testing site, other than obviously the trees are mutated somehow? Is there like old signs or something, or structures?
So I think that there's not so much signs and structures, it's that there's what's obviously magical waste oozing out of the ground around the pines. So it's kind of thick like crude oil, but it's kind of scintillating rainbows and kind of like occasionally sparking and kind of all sorts of different colors, and just kind of like this is just kind of like bubbling up out of kind of patches. Like it's almost like a bog of this magical kind of magical chemical waste.
Mm-hmm. It's like an oil spill for magical goo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
awesome. I would assume that the trained eye of NIDA will see that the surface area of this mountain has been looted and picked through already. But you do spot an underground entrance. How does it look like? Is it like a shaft? Or
I think at this point, I unshoulder my rifle and I start looking through the scope so I can get a better view of it.
Mm-hmm. And how does the entrance to the underground look like? Is it an old elevator shaft, or like a mine
It is
shaft?
a massive vault door
Mm-hmm.
that is shut. It appears to be locked. It appears to be sealed. It doesn't look like anyone's been in there, which is good. But it also looks like the reason no one's been in there is because this thing looks impenetrable.
Cool. So yeah, we see the vault door through the scope of your plasma rifle, and then maybe we make a cut. You're standing on the mountain in front of the door. We see in the background, way down is the auto wagon. What do you do?
We left Vigo with the wagon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you see Vigo very cinematically leaning against the hood and smoking.
So how do we get through this door then?
I don't know, Hamish. How do we get through this door? You're the one who seems to know about these things.
I don't know. I'll go over and knock on it. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, first of all, it sounds really massive, but you can hear behind it that the knocking is like there's an echo.
If only Saffron was here. She always knew how to get through these things.
Mm-hmm.
Does the kite twitch?
Yes, the kite twitches when Saffron's name is mentioned. And we see like a flashback of Saffron standing, the group of you standing in front of another vault door, and Saffron is leaning and listening with their ear, and then opening the vault door.
I wonder, is there anything that the crystal snail can do, considering that it has the consciousness of Johnny Seven and Satrap's memories and, well, whatever else catalog dragged along?
So there's this blinking blue light that says standby, but it's not a process, it's a hard drive. There's nothing happening inside.
Is that something that Cataract could log into?
There doesn't seem to be a port where you could attach Cataract, which is the salamander.
Yeah. Is there, if it's a big vault door that's sealed, there's probably not a crack that they can crawl into, right?
I mean, you could look for a different entrance. There's not a crack in the vault door itself. I mean, you can always
whatever interface there is, just pokes it. Like, does the screen? Is there any buttons? Is there anything like?
Is there any kind of obvious mechanism?
Yeah, there's this gigantic wheel, but it's like in a safe door that has to be turned in one direction and the other, and you need the code.
So there's a giant combination lock on the front.
You can always try to crack the code.
Who would be good at cracking codes?
Or look for a different entrance.
Try to blow
it up. Is that wisdom?
I don't think we have anything we can blow it up with, though, do we? We don't have explosives.
I want to. So, I mean, who would be able to crack it? I would want to say like a bandit type, Robin Hood type.
Okay, sure.
Character could try it.
Sure.
With, where's your? Bodhi has to do it as well. You need to write 2 of your groups from your affiliation, vocation, and species or heritage next to a stat, and that will, in a certain situation, give you an advantage. So if you look at Will's character, Highwayman is on int and Shattered Chain is on charisma. I don't think that you will charm your way through. Well, it's also kind of luck based.
I mean, this is the Ultraviolet Grasslands. Charming your way in for a computer is not out of the question. Just not here, I guess. Would you say Highwayman, perhaps, or
could I use my considerable my newfound brawn to help with this?
Well, there's no real helping mechanism in YTech.
Would my increased strength help?
Yeah, I understand. Like if you were try to break in with brute force, then obviously I would add like the strength of the 2 of you. But that seems to be impossible. It's like a really solid door. With Highway, like I would give you, if the broken chain was next to an appropriate skill, then you could always tell me how you were trained by the group to
Well, in Highwayman, you often attack, secure convoys with
Mhm.
quite elaborate security systems, and you have to break into them before the reinforcements come, before the patrols catch up with you. Like you got to get at the stuff. So picked up a
Okay,
trick or two on the way in.
I have a great idea, which is a mechanic I haven't introduced yet, but it's my favorite YTech mechanic, and it's called an auction. And the auction works like this. I give the vault door an opposing stat, and let's give it 10 to make it fair. It's like in between nothing and 20. And what we do is we both roll a d6. You don't tell me the result. You just write the result somewhere down, and you add
Okay.
it to your current intelligence.
Okay.
So I add the score to the 10.
Let me get dice out. So, and then I add my intelligence, which is nothing, anyways, isn't it? So it's just.
No. You add your actual stat. So you
Oh, I
have your
see.
stat of, I think you also have a
8.
10, and then you add the d6. So if you roll a 6, you now have a 16. If you have a
Okay.
2, and now you have a 12. Don't tell me what
Cool.
it is.
Which stat are we using? Do I choose
Intelligence.
intelligence? So I have an 8 then. Okay.
Okay. So what we now do is an auction, which means you tell me how you try to break into the vault, and I tell you how the vault resists. So what you could do is you bet, for example, you bet, let's say 3, and that would mean is you bet that you will roll between 3 and your new intelligence score. And then I can raise and I can say, okay, but the vault door resists with a 4. And that means I bet that I will roll between a 4 and my new vault score. And then you can raise again. And the reason why you would raise is, if you don't raise, I roll. And then if I don't get it, you bust the door open. But
I
if
think I get
I
it.
roll and yeah, okay.
So are we rolling a d20? Or
Yeah, but first you say what you bet.
what I bet is I bet 7.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, man. Go big.
I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah,
7 is crazy. What
cool.
did you roll, man? Okay, now you have to roll.
Yeah, now I have to
And
roll.
how does it look like because 7 seems like you have the perfect plan to break into the vault.
Um, I have, like, I recognize, and looking at it, I see the things. I pop out a little screwdriver, manage to unscrew a hatch, and then see like all the mechanical gubbins attached to the, the digital interface kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, step back and like just grab the screwdriver and like shove it hard into one of the internal workings and just wrench something out of there violently, which I am sure
Yeah.
will do the job. So let's see.
It's the equivalent of kicking your computer if it doesn't work.
Yeah, God, I really hope I get this. Yes, I do. I got 13, and I had
Nice.
I had 14 as mine.
Yeah, I had 11. I rolled a 1. That sucked. Okay, so yeah, you open the door. The door opens and it's dark inside. Well, there's obviously the sun illuminating the first couple of meters. There's a very the smell is a bit reminiscent of the smell from the decaying body of Johnny Seven. It's very fungi-ish, like autumny, I want to say, like wet leaves and fungus. Yeah, well, if I had missed, the door would have been, closed forever. Anyway, so you do enter, and underneath the ground, there's this caverns. So you follow a tunnel, and the tunnel opens up. The tunnel is relatively steep, goes down, well, after a couple of meters, it's pitch black. What do you do?
Turn on my ultra ray lamp,
Mm-hmm.
which is incredibly bright, I believe.
It is. It definitely is. So the tunnel opens up into a cavern, and the cavern is like, it's very what's it called? Like the ceiling is relatively low, so you can barely stand upright, and it is covered with these ferns, you want to say. But you all hear like this is rustling a verb? Is that how you describe a noise? Rustling noise? Like something that's...
Does it sound animal, or does it sound like wind through the ferns, or?
There's no wind, but it does sound like wind that passes through maybe, like leaves or something.
I get my shotgun ready.
Scurrying. Okay. And then you see in the light of this, the ultra lamp, you see two ferns like scurrying over the ground. Does that trigger your trigger finger, Nida?
Are they moving toward us or away?
Away from the light.
Moving. I'm not gonna waste ammo on something that's running away from us. Doesn't make sense.
Tell that to Don Strucker, the leader of the Redlander Bandits.
That's a little bit different.
Anyways, where the ferns left on the spot, you can see something blinking, and like, not blinking, what's it called? Like reflecting the light.
Go over and check it out. Right.
It does seem to be the corner of a crate. It's a metal crate, and let's see. It is an ancient crate. It has like the logo of some kind of company that is, from the long ago. And I would like for Abe and for Bodhi to both make the 20% roll if you find what you are looking for.
I was going to ask about that. Do we have the roll your party in here?
Yes, it is in the chat. Oh, fuck, it was quicker.
Oh, thank
so
you.
it's 20% for the both of you, and we just assume that you search the area. It's not the same crate. There's one crate where Hamish is standing, and then there are others where Epoch and Azure are looking for their...
It's just 2d10. There's no d100 on here, right?
You can do what's it called? Like the
F
funky dice.
It's XDY.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
So it's one. You just type 1d100, I guess.
Yeah,
Where?
XDY. It's over at the right side on that bar.
Label?
Next to new room, set background, shuffle discards. XDY. It's right under.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then I just do 1d100.
Yeah, 1d100.
57. Is that it?
Yeah, that is it.
That's a fail. Nothing.
That is
for
a
me
fail.
today.
Yes.
I've had good luck.
We see Azure, walking through the ferns that seem to, sometimes follow you, sometimes walk away from you.
I am not managing to find where I put in a D100 here.
So there's the D4 and D6 and all that. You see that, and then you have beneath is submit and clear. And if you go all to the end, there's set background and then XDY. And if you click XD,
you can also just double click on the yellow circle that's on the table already. That's got 57.
And
yeah.
selected.
Rerun.
oh, that's true.
Does not get me.
Oh, so close. So
Yeah,
close.
I see it now, but close. Yeah, not quite.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I think what you find is probably a crate that's how do you know that that crate once had the machine part that you were looking for? Like, is it a certain logo or the shape or the size or the?
I think that it has a symbol on it that is repeated often in the silver book I carry. It's what I'm looking for, and the whispers in my head kind of like hissing disappointment.
I'm interested. What does the logo or like the rune or whatever it is look like? Like in general.
I think they are kind of various patterns of wheels within wheels. So it's kind of it's kind of intersecting circles in kind of complex patterns.
Nice. Cool. And so while you are sorry, Hamish is obviously the first who found an actual crate. It is a metal crate. It has as I said, the logo of a company from the long ago, and it is closed. It almost looks like like a bio container or something, biohazard container.
Would Hamish know what a biohazard container looks like, though? That's the question. No.
I don't think so.
Right, let's have a look in here, guys. How do we crack it open? I think Hamish will just jam his sword into whatever lip and try and pry it open. To be perfectly honest with you,
that seems like a Hamish thing to do.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Inside, well, Epoch would recognize them, the parts, as ancient biomantic gear. So, both Epoch and Azure, who looked around, and probably Nida as well, have already spotted a couple of other of these crates. It would take some considerable time to find all of them, but I mean, what can happen in a dark cave?
Should we load it up, or should we grab this on the way back out again?
Do I know, kind of, given that I recognize it, do I recognize it as dangerous or valuable or useful? Kind of, what's its standout feature?
Its standout feature is that it's valuable for biomancers in general as a trading good. I mean, it's especially valuable to you, not all of the crates, but maybe one to take for yourself. And Abe, can you roll a d6 for me, please?
Yep, 1 second. Got a 2.
Okay. Holy crap. What? You hear what sounds to be like classical music from deeper in the cave.
Classical music is always a trap. It is literally always a trap.
Is it like Phantom of the Opera music?
Mm-hmm.
The fugue in 7,
Yeah,
whatever it is?
It's a Bach organ playing.
Seems we've fallen upon goth vampires.
I look at Ajax, and I'm curious, can Ajax tell me anything about what's going on here?
Ajax sits on the ground, is cleaning his paws and cleaning himself.
Grooming his face.
What now? You see, I'm busy.
Ajax, you want to keep eating, right?
Jesus, you want to starve me to death? Is that what is this about?
No, I'm merely saying I want to keep feeding you. To do that, I need money and I need to stay alive, right?
Right.
So, you're an exiled cat lord. I don't know everything that you know. You're wise.
I am. That is true.
So I want to keep feeding you. And you want me to keep feeding you. In order to keep feeding you, I need to stay alive. So do you know anything about this?
Like the crappy music from an organ? No, I don't.
Well, you're psychic, aren't you?
Yes.
Can you sense anything?
I could go there. And he he gets up and makes like a cat, what's it called? Like a hunched back.
Yeah, the cat stretch.
And stretches. All right then. And leisurely walks off into the dark.
Anybody know any good ghost stories?
At this point, APOC is torn. I'm torn between securing this valuable biomancy gear and exploring further, because I've seen a crate with this symbol for my book on it, and I'm kind of internally, I think you hear me kind of like debating with the whispers in my head. You can't hear the whispers, you just hear one side of this debate, with the whispers wanting me to go further in and kind of I'm arguing that we should head out first with the biomancy gear.
Hamish definitely takes one step away from you while you're whispering to yourself.
Not creepy at all.
Yeah.
Totally normal. People talk with themselves. What is the rest doing while APOC is talking to themselves?
Ajax is scouting it out, right? Like,
yes.
And this is the. I mean, if this is the other way to go, and we know that Ajax is scouting it out, then I guess Hamish is waiting for Ajax.
Okay, so you can also follow him a little bit with your lamp. You can see that he's, as I said, with a leisurely pace, walking through these ferns. Once in a while, like pawing at one that gets too close, one of these ferns. And then he seems to have found like a staircase, like a concrete staircase that goes down, and then you lose him. Okay, so Hamish is waiting. APOC is discussing Azure.
can I send cataract down to, or is there anywhere where I can connect cataract to the system here?
I mean, you have seen in your vision that that one of the walls of the cavern has what looks like a. You don't see it at the moment, but you know it must be somewhere. Has some kind of opening. So you remember that the whole wall actually was part of a machine, and there was one opening that spitted out this fern hamster hybrids.
Right. But we don't see that around anywhere.
I mean, you didn't say that you were looking for it. If you go into
yeah.
Do you have a light source? Do you have anything to light your way, illuminate your way? I guess.
Probably not.
What kind of pack do you have?
Boys Big Adventure Pack.
What does it say? That sounds
Voyager
like some
supplies and a Farm Boys Big Adventure Pack. Is what I have.
I guess that the farm boy. Let's see.
Maybe a torch.
Pockets 5 bonus stones. Pet rodent. Memento, heirloom weapon. 6 worth of trail mix. I mean, these bonus stones are stone-sized items, and one of them can be a flashlight, I guess.
Okay, great.
That's how I read it, at least. So yeah, you walk towards the wall, and when you get closer, you can definitely see that the wall is covered with like not algae, what's called lichen, I guess.
Yep.
And that under the lichen there seems to be like an artificial structure.
All right, I'll try clearing away the lichen.
Okay, and you do see that it is a metal wall, and it is very similar to. So it's also you know, when you're cleaning it, you feel with your hands that the wall is actually vibrating, it's humming along, and it does remind you of Johnny 7.
Interesting. All right, I'll continue. I'll call over to Nida and see if she wants to come help me.
Help you with what?
Clearing out the walls. I think this is a lead on John. Maybe we can hook up Johnny 7 here.
Nida's becoming as sassy as Ajax.
I
look quizzically at Azure and wander over and lift a lamp up.
So if you search the wall, you can definitely see like an what was it called? Like an opening, like a crawl space that leads inside that machine. So what do you do?
I put the rock in there. Do I see anything? Any sharp jaws, grinding together or anything like that?
What you do see is like when you in the dark, sometimes when you see an animal, you see these like silvery eyes and reflecting eyes, and you see like, I want to say 6 or 7, 8 pairs of these deep inside the tunnel staring at your back.
Oh geez. Let's see. Seems like it would be a bad idea to send Cataract down there all by his lonesome.
Could be a good idea. I don't know.
All right.
I mean, that was a joke.
I mean, you have a flashlight. Maybe you could fix the flashlight to Cataract in some way to illuminate this crawl space.
Well, it's a rock. I don't know if it would balance.
Oh,
well, actually, Cataract's made out of wire. Could I unravel some wire and then
can I have like
the
2
rocket.
minutes?
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
I got that bundle bucket, and you're right. There is so many games in there.
Over 740.
Yeah.
And I know that people are trying to get more games added to it. So if you've already purchased it, I don't know if those will be automatically added to the bundle, or if you'll need to toss another $5 at it. But
I've it's been updated since I first got it, and I think there's new stuff in it.
Oh, God damn it.
Did you see Halo Hands made a document, a Google Doc that lists all the RPG stuff, and it's like it's attempting to log what pages stuff is on.
That is hugely, hugely valuable. I haven't been on Discord today.
I don't know if you put it in Discord. I just put it in the UVG channel.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Yeah, that's actually something. Could you post that in the thread that I put up on Slack? Just because, I mean, I don't want to take credit for what you found from Halo.
Hold on a second. Where it's on? It's on.
I believe I put it in RPG chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah. I'll reply to that.
Because that's been a huge issue. Like, it was kind of cute because last night, and I'm not even remotely kidding about this. I tweeted about it, and something like 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour later, my kid texted me and said, "Oh my God, there's so many games." And she and I started combing through the list. And we literally spent about an hour last night just going through the list of stuff, talking to each other about how excited we were for this, that, or half a dozen of the other. She told me, and I wish her the best of luck on this, that she intends to review every item in that bundle to bring attention to the creators and what they've done. And I'm just looking at it like, well, good luck with that. There's only 743 last I counted. So good times.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Sorry.
Will, you do have to leave in 15 minutes, and
I do have to leave in 15 minutes. Yes.
I do want to give you the chance to at least tell me what your general plan is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep on exploring the cave.
Yeah.
Apparently aided by Ajax,
Okay.
who is leading the way in front of me. And yeah, Hamish is just carrying on exploring.
Following Hamish. You're following Ajax down the stairs.
Well, I mean, if Nyla turns around and goes off towards, I think where Azure is calling, he'll like shrug his shoulders and be like, "Got it," and then just walk down.
Don't split the party. Just let Ajax be a cat and go do a cat thing.
And then I tell you what, I will wait for Ajax at the top of the stairs, whistling, smoking a cigarette.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at the top of the stairs, you can definitely hear the music more loudly. And you can also hear how do I interpret this? Jesus. I want to say you hear what sounds like very articulate. It's like it seems to be like a big room, and there are people in the big room, and it seems they seem to talk in this very articulate tone to each other. It's like it's quite a show tonight. Yes, it is. Indeed.
So
But
they sound like good people to rob, to be perfectly honest, to Hamish.
they do sound like very educated, which is rich people, and they're the best people to rob.
Yeah, nice.
There's one thing though. What gives away that? First of all, there is a ratty quality to it, like a ratty as in
Small
sounds
word.
made by a rat.
Yes.
Um,
Squeaking every now and again.
yes.
You know, like as they say things, it ends in a squeak, or like squeak, 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 squeak. Yes.
And secondly, it seems to be imprinted behavior rather than like somebody with a conscious or with actually knowing what they're talking about. I don't know how
They loop.
that's. Oh yeah, there are things repeating from different voices. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like a parrot, you know. Like you can even hear like the same words being spoken by different people, kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. Cool. And then Ajax comes back and like shaking his head. You can't talk to Ajax though. Ajax speaks.
What is it, boy? What is it, boy? Wait, yeah, I forgot about that.
Does he wait? Does Ajax actually sound that annoyed and miffed?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
It's like a cat that had waited like half an hour in front of the closed door and it's raining.
So, Hamish will point down and be like, "Should we go down or should we wait for the rest?"
Shrugs.
Hey, you're so useful, Ajax. I can see why.
He will also walk in between your legs to make it more difficult to walk.
Okay.
With that bit about you're so useful, does Ajax actually like swipe at Hamish with claws out or anything?
Definitely with the tail, but in a way that passes Hamish very, very closely, and you know that the spikes are paralyzing.
Yeah, all right, calm down, guys. Come on, let's go. Hey, Box, stop faffing around. If you want one of those things, like we'll pick it up on the way out. You can have two of them. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
So
I've been kind of cataloging and as a kind of a compromise, I've been kind of investigating and kind of like putting the biomancy gear into two or three piles and kind of like sorting it in order of value and importance, so kind of we can grab it when we come back.
Well, every time you're cataloging it, you're grabbing it, and every time you look at another corner of the cave, there's another crate. That place seems to be loaded.
So go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say, does Ajax come over to Azure and I?
Yes, and
Okay.
I mean, you were standing and shining your light into the crawl space, and you can actually see the creatures in the light, not only the eyes, and they do remind you a little bit of the uplifted prairie dogs that you slaughtered, except they are like cyber versions of these dogs. So they have mechanical parts in them.
Well, we knew from the vision that there was an autofac here making mechanical prairie dogs. All right, Azure. What else do you remember about this place from your vision?
I just remember there was a lot of boxes full of loot. I remember that that there's a. I'm sorry. What are these? What was Johnny 7? What kind of robot is it?
An autofac.
Yeah, it seemed like there was an autofac here that we might be able to install Johnny on.
There is definitely at this moment there's like a Azure. You can see that there's like a red point, as if like from a laser pointer or something, moving up from Nida's body to her face.
Wait, moving from whose body to whose face?
Nida's.
And it's a what?
It seems to be like the red light of a laser pointer.
I tackle her.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Oh, you tackle her. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't get that. You tackle her. Okay, cool.
I tickle her. No, just kidding.
Make a dexterity check. Let's see.
What do I roll? What die?
D20, and you want to roll equal or under a 16.
I believe that's a 3.
That is a good tackle. And I need to read this again. There's a heat ray that shoots out of the tunnel where Nida was just a second ago, and that is when Ajax, comes over to you. What do you do?
Well, I was initially surprised by the tackle, and then the heat ray hit, and suddenly I was less surprised and more appreciative. And now Ajax is here, and it's like, so, Ajax, what kind of death trap have we wandered into this time?
Not sure about the death trap, but tell you what, there are some really fucked up rats down there.
Some fucked up what?
Rats.
Oh.
Define fucked up.
And I mean, you are obviously out of the, next to the tunnel or something, because there's another heat ray coming out of it, burning
Does
some
it
of
look
the ferns.
targeted, or does it look like is it hitting the same place, like it's an exhaust port, or does it look like it's a targeted blast?
It is definitely a targeted blast, and you hear the squealing and the screaming of the ferns that burn and run away burning.
These the hamster ferns?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they didn't do anything to us.
Is Cataract still in the Cataract is still in the, what do you call it? The tunnel thing?
Oh, you said, that's what you said. You said Cataract with the
Yeah, I was going to use the wire to wrap the
flashlight
rope
wire
around it, yeah.
to it. Now at this moment it comes, scurrying around out of the tunnel, maybe giving you like a pained look while he's passing you and getting out of the way.
Oh, she's being chased, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So,
I'm going to step back from this tunnel and aim my shotgun in its general direction.
cool.
Nice thing about shotguns, you don't have to be too precise.
That is true. Before Will is leaving.
Should we just stop there since Will has to go?
It is. I mean, I know that Puckett, you had a sleepless night, so I'd be okay.
Yeah, I'd be fine with stopping it here. It's a nice bit of a cliffhanger, and
It's a great cliffhanger.
I'm going to say that that Apoc starts agitating for getting the biomancy gear out of here before it all gets destroyed by the heat ray.